Okay.
Good morning. We're back at you with gloves off, and today we have a great martial artist, a great person, and also my brother, because we're both executive chefs and we're also martial artists. Guru, good morning. How are we doing today?
Very good. Good morning. I wish I could be there in your studio, but it's better that we can start right here on the phone.
Well, I want to thank you, number one, for teaching and being in front of things in your area, and also bringing the culture of arnis de mano to the U.S. and spreading it out. I want you to tell us a little bit more about what you do, your name of the system, all that good stuff, and what it benefits and everything.
Okay. Well, I came here to the United States in 1986 as a seaman or work in the cruise line as a chef. I still train, in the cruise ship at the time, but I start teaching over here in the U.S. when I get married with my wife in 1989. I start teaching arnis de mano. But before that, I used to teach in the Philippines. I was part of the big organization over there, and the organization of the modernists, just to be associated with the national level. But my father, my grandfather, is all pioneered of this Filipino martial art in our area. And actually, our family names is well known in our area, in Laguna.
In Laguna.
Which is Laguna area, yeah. Which is weird because most scrimadors came from Cebu or Bisaya. And I'm the only one. I mean, I'm not the only one because there's men, but I'm one of the few that came from Luzon, I would say.
What would you
Luzon,
say?
Yeah, Luzon Island.
What would you say its differences from the Luzon to the Visayan to the ones from Cebu? What's the difference in usages, or is there? I mean, is there stylistic differences or little? What would you say?
Well, this is very common question that was thrown to me every time I go around the country. And what is the difference of Cebu and Aris? If I say the differences, then I would assume that you would think that I know Cebu also, right?
Okay,
so I would I would tell you the straightforward. And I don't know what their Cebuano or the Visayan do. I can only talk about the Luzon or the Filipino martial art in our area.
Understood.
Because I would be hypocrite if I would say something or critique somebody that I really doesn't know.
I understand. I understand fully. So explain your system. Explain what was passed down to you from your grandfather to father and your uncles to you.
Yeah. Okay. First, the arts that I teach is multifaceted in different spots, right? A different major system in Luzon. I teach Cinco Terros, which is really formulated in Pangasinan, Ilocos area, which is the central Luzon. And I teach Cinco Terros, Tres Puntos from Batangas, and I teach Siete Colores, which is highly, recognized in Laguna, because the whole Laguna is all Siete Colores. Or Pitong Palo, and I also teach Larong Moromoro, which is the oldest of them all. Larong Moromoro is founded or created on 1637 in Manila and traveled throughout Luzon. And I don't see how it traveled to Bisaya, but out to other area. But I only can talk about how we traveled to Luzon because that's how far I researched. Up to now, I'm still researching how far it goes and who brought them to that island.
Understood.
So that's the research the research that I do, and we also have a little bit of of healing arts, and then we have the grappling arts, which is a lot of people shutting me down before that. They said that there's no grappling arts in the Philippines, which is I highly contradict them, and I said, well, see me, and I'll show you. We call it Harimau Buno.
Exactly.
It's a Filipino, it's a Filipino grappling, combat wrestling, I would say, because grappling is not heard before, just now.
Understood.
So that's the art that I teach. The benefits of it is so much, because it teaches you the cultural value of the Filipino, and it teaches you how it was taught from the first generation to me. It doesn't teach violence. It teaches really how you become a human being, how to really act, I would say, civilized person to others. Instead of fighting, you are trying to create a friendship rather than enemy.
No,
and that's what we are trying to promote.
You're absolutely correct. In most true, I would say, true martial arts, Savat and Capoeira and your Kempos and stuff, it produced a family-oriented brotherhood, a fellowship. It wasn't, yes, you learned how to fight. Yes, you learned how to defend yourself. But it was more the preservation of those that we loved than anything else. And that's when you become brothers. You have a fellowship. And that, to me, is more important than anything else. And that's beautiful.
That's correct.
And that's beautiful that you continue and you preach that and you instill that into your students. That's awesome, Guru.
But a lot of time, always openly, I was misquoted or what they call that interpreted by a lot of readers or a listener the way I talk highly about Philippine martial art. I said no, I'm talking about what I believe and what I said. Let's put it aside the name of the art. Let's just call it fighting arts only. And we are just talking the same fighting arts that you are. It doesn't really matter what kind of martial art you practice. Fighting art is a fighting art.
Exactly right. You're absolutely correct. And sometimes when you see the council of the great teachers, I won't call them grandmasters. I'll say the great teachers.
Right.
And I don't care whether they're coming from the Philippines or coming from France or coming from Brazil or coming from the U.S. Their counsel is always the same. They resonate the same thing. Don't do this, don't do that, stay off of this. They try to lead you from the wrong road. Okay, and to me, I think that is the most of the value of the martial arts. Instead of I want to be the best, the biggest, the strongest, I'm going to go beat up everybody and so on and so forth. Yes, that exists too in the martial arts. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And I tell people this. I don't care what school you go to. There, every school you're going to have, valiente. You're going to have the brave one that's going to be the courageous one. That's going to be the one that's going to think he can throw. Every place you go to, it's going to have one, and that's just part of life.
Yes.
But
it's funny. It's funny the way you mention all of the name, right? It's like in Spanish, it's valiente, right?
Right.
It's like violence. That's one of my last name is violence. It's valiente. And then the Baet actually is an Indonesian word for love. Back the old love. So it's like I was mixed. And then the Salazar, which is the Spanish name, is also another one for what they call that. Salazar is a killer. So when I research my name, among my name alone, it's a fighting arts because my name is Abulio, meaning a perfect man.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And well, let's change a little bit. You're a chef. I'm a chef. Okay.
Yes.
And we deal with knives. We know how to butcher. We know that. Has that because I know it has on me, and especially when I train, has that type of knowledge changed your understanding, especially the butchering?
Oh yeah, it's big. Before I become a chef, I'm a farmer.
Right.
I grew up in a farm, rice field and mountain, you name it. And I grew up, and then also a wood carver back home. My father, my family is all wood carver. My town is known in the area as the Philippine capital of carving capital of the Philippines.
No wonder you're a nice champion, a nice carving champion. I knew there was something there. Huh? Go ahead.
We use knife since we were, we hold knife as soon as we understand, the value of the knife. Which is 5 to 6 years old. We start holding knife.
Right.
And a lot of people don't understand, that I'm talking when I talk about knife. It's like, no, I'm talking by experience, not just read it on the book. I said, how many times I cut myself, I said, yeah. How many times we cut ourselves?
Exactly.
How many times we scratch ourselves, And I see a lot of people. I mean, being a chef instructor in culinary arts for 6 years, I see military that attended my class cut himself right on the nail alone, and painted.
Yep.
So,
I'm going to share a story for interjecting about that. Well, I was working in a catering company and was doing my apprenticeship. It was back in 96, 97, 96 more or less. And it was Christmas, and we were cutting. We had the vegetables. They brought them in. You know how they bring them in and pack ice. And we're cutting leeks at that time, and they bring them in and the little crates, and they have ice on top, so they're cold. Your fingers are cold. And it's three of us. It was myself, the chef, and there was another chef that he had come in, and he was bragging everywhere. And we're cutting away because we had to feed 500 people, and we're cutting away the leeks, and all of a sudden a piece of finger flew out.
Oh.
And I just put my knife down, and I kind of started feeling my fingers, and I realized that they were all there. And I turned around and looked at the chef, and he's doing the same thing. And when we turn around, the other guy, and guess what? He was white. And the chef grabs the leeks in a bunch of ice, it puts it in a bag, and he wraps them up and takes them to the hospital and goes, "You continue." And I was like, okay. But you realize real quick the caress of a knife. And when you start doing knife defenses, you feel that blade, and it gives you a different type of sensitivity because you work with a knife for such a long time.
That's correct.
And people do not understand that,
That's very good. That's very good point. It's very good point. You raised it there. You see, I always tell everybody that to call yourself a master of the blade, you have to know the blade from tip, to tip. It's not like just knowing them a year or two. People call themselves a blade master, and did they ever have cut themselves? Did they ever cut, someone else, And that's one thing I always raise to everybody. So don't call yourself to the title that you just want people to call you because, sounds good.
You're going to be placed to the test one day, and one day, that test you might pass and you might not, and many don't, and that's the reality of life, And
I have an experience.
Go ahead.
When I was 19 years old, I have a person that known in our area in Laguna that he already killed 6 people.
Mm-hmm.
And he's walking around telling everybody that he would, drinking over there in the street. You heard what they're talking about. And they said that he's going to kill one of my brothers because, so-and-so, they need to stop the, what they call that, royalty of Filipino martial art. And one of my brothers is a target. So I said, well, if that's my brother, then, he's going to see what he's looking for.
Right.
So, by the way, this guy mistakenly me is my brother.
Yeah, he took you as his brother. Yeah.
Yeah. So he waited until 6 6:30. You know, when 6:30 in the Philippines, it's really pitch black. You cannot see anything. And as I'm walking home, I see a shadow right on the corner of a small street, and I don't realize it's him. All I see is him move when he get close, and I see in the glimpse, just a glimpse that he's moving. So I start acting. I try to hold his shoulder and try to slide it to his hand, and I felt a knife on his hand. Then from there, I just holding so tight, and he pull and stab again, until he cut me on my belly and cutting my belt. So at that point, I don't have a chance, to think. I have to grab hard and pull the knife with him. I don't know how I did it, because nobody can really explain how I did it, even myself. Because it's dark, plus at the same time, my adrenaline rush is really getting on me. Plus, I'm scared. I pull the knife, and I push the guy on the wall, and I hold the knife. I turn around, but my mind is so clear that when I stab him, I don't count. I stab him so fast, from head, from the chest to the legs, going back. I just stab him from there 24 times after the fight's over. And he was laying there, to the street, bleeding. And then police, barangay police came in and bring him to the hospital. When he got to the hospital, they clean him up. Guess what? I stabbed him 24 times, 1 inch only each stab. So I don't kill him. And my dad said, that's your training.
That's right.
So
and God bless that you're here, and God bless it that you won. And it goes back to training. And the training, as I tell people, is a man that's good in his basics. It's a hard man to beat.
Yeah.
You have to have your basics. And you have to have that, because if you do not have that, that's the only thing that we have back as security. That's correct. I don't know if you see this, Guru, but you see a lot of students coming to school, or they come to my school, and they want to fight and stuff. And Savat is just like Eskrima. It has a brigade system. As you go up, more disciplines are inserted. There's grappling as well, and there's some. And people want to get to the high without having the low. So you don't have no foundation. You have both your concurrent and your appendage disciplines. And
right.
In today's student, I would say from 2010 to the present, we've been getting a lot of students that really do not want to learn. They want to go in there and tell you that they know, and they want to receive some kind of title because they already know. And I don't know if you've seen that in the last I would say decade, because we've got 2 years left. What do you say about that? Huh?
Every day I see that kind of person. They walk into my dojo, they walk into my house, and want to watch a one two things, and then join my group. And he asks, he's already a black belt, or he already been training in some sort of martial art, so he should be entitled for a title. I said, sorry, you want to be my student, you got to learn from the beginning.
Of course.
From A.
Of course.
And if you cannot pass the A, then we're not going to B. And you don't understand. He said that I'm a master of so and so.
Yeah.
In fact, I have one student that's is a famous ultimate fighter champion. What they call that, veterans.
Mm-hmm.
I kick him out on my group because he take advantage of me. But I'm not afraid of him. I told him straightforward that either you walk out or you're gonna hear more that I'm gonna tell you to leave. He said you're not that special to me. Why? Because when you become my student, you're back to zero. And he don't want that. He wants some sort of entitled to be respected. I respect you because you went through that series of fights in the octagon,
right?
In the early days. But you're now my student. You cannot bring your title over here unless I'm the one learning from you.
No, you're absolutely correct, and that happens all the time. You know, I got a student, well, a person that wanted to be a student last week. He's 45 years old and wants to go into the ring. I said, have you ever fought before? And he goes, I'm in tip-top shape. Yeah, I can see that you're in shape, you know, but I want to go into the ring. And I go, number one, boxing-wise, in the state of Texas, you're over the age limit. In most amateur sporting organizations, you're already over the limit. I go, you might do something in some karate, maybe in the stick fighting world we can accept that, and in some karate tournaments you might. And I don't take people into karate, but in Savat, you're past the age. So he kind of got mad, you know. And I said, and I'm not going to teach you right now for you to go in there for you to get hurt, because number one, physically you're already in the negative. So the ring is a young man's art. And if you're 28 years old and you're trying to figure out that you're going to go into the ring, you're already too late. Most of these guys that have been boxing, they've been boxing since they were 10 years old, both in Savat, both in boxing, period. And they've go to the ring once a month. And people do not grasp that. And the ring is a dangerous thing. Now, I can teach you for the street. I can teach anybody, you know. But that's a total different mindset and mentality. So he left, you know. He crossed words. I guess they don't want to learn the truth. But that's part of life. And another thing that I keep telling folks, and I had a conversation with several, and I'm pretty sure you'll understand this. If the person, those teachers that are out there, many of them say rank is not important. Well, I teach you and there's no rank because this is the way it should be. Those people that talk that way is because their signature doesn't hold any weight anywhere. Only those that signature hold weight are the ones that are going to value what rank is and what fundamentals are and that type of training. Understand?
Yes, I agree.
Let's touch base. You said in the knife system, and what you do. What is it?
Well,
how can I put it? In the terms of self-defense, because there's a lot of people out there that are looking for that. How would you say this differs from the rest, both unarmed and armed? What would you say?
This is the only thing I can say, and I can only comment on few of I see in video and see on other instructors that I've been associated with.
Right.
Their approach is very I would call it very linear. It's one-on-one. Solid the foundation is really face-to-face, which I was taught differently. I was taught that you don't wait for him to stop in order for you to defend. You have to defend before he even stops or even slash. You see what happened? You see what the value of the word?
Sure.
You have to be already defensive before he even attack you. Or even start to attack you. The initiate of attack. You should be ready long before he can attack. A lot of people I don't see those words being thrown out there, giving the student or the practitioner a warning. Hey, blade is sharp. You have to be ready in utmost, of your defense. You cannot just off guard, thinking that you have this. You cannot just assure that you have it. It's better that you're scared than not scared at all, because it'll set you up in failure.
That's exactly right.
And that's what my dad said.
You're absolutely correct. My uncle used to say this: if I can put my finger on you, I can put my knife.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a very short man, and he had rheumatoid arthritis, and he can hit like a mule, and he moved. I don't know where he got that from, but he moved because he controlled the circle, and now I understand it years later. I reminisce with the training that I had. and you can see that, and I'm like, okay, thank you, you know. But in the early days, you didn't understand what, no, I didn't, you know, until later on. Now, sometimes, you know, I'm teaching class and I see what he did, and I do something, and I say, that's what he did. Okay. Now it's coming to me, you know.
See, as you know, now I become an instructor. You know, before I don't see myself as a very effective instructor because I was a fighter before I before a teacher.
Correct.
And I don't want to put myself, you know, that I'm a perfect instructor because I don't know to become an instructor at the time. But when I realize what I've been teaching them, I should teach them what I experienced rather than I should teach them what I think. It's not what I think. It should be what should be. You know, that's why, because a lot of time we go to the book and we read the book, A is A, B is B. And it's true because we have some sort of lenience on the ABC, you know.
Correct.
But at the same time, we have to give them a pre thinking that if A doesn't work for you, you have to find another way that could be your A.
Understood.
You understand what I'm saying?
Of course.
Because a lot of time we try to force that person, okay, block here, block there. Or once you block right here, what you do. You know, and the person that we're teaching or the student that we're teaching, we realize that it's not like us that we can react fast enough. So you have to find their needs of their A, because A is an A, is right all the time, but your A might not be his A. So that's why I'm very you know, very easy for me to watch them first and see, okay, this is my A, and see what what you can do for me. Because as an instructor, we always try to make them do what we want them to do, but they would never realize that they might not even capable of doing what we can do. So we're trying to find a way of how to teach them the easy way for them to accept, oh, that's my A, but that's Guru's A, because the Guru is A cannot be my A. So the basic is still the same, but his thinking is totally different.
No, you're absolutely correct. You're correct.
You know, I don't know, but some people are confused on what I said, but I don't know. That's the way I want. That's what I want people to understand, that you cannot. I mean, some people can flip. I can't. Some people can roll. You know, fast enough like a judo people. I can't. So
no, you're absolutely correct. You know, he wasn't my professor, okay, but he was a professor that counseled me a lot. Okay, his name was Sot Massage. For me, he's probably the best professor of Savate, Boxe Française Savate, that produced more champions, period, to the day. He teaches out of Club Clichy, and he used to say, now you're going, I remember this because, you know, you go from monitor level to professor level in Savate, and that's the highest you go. And he said, you have to realize one thing. When you're teaching people, you can't teach them to fight like you fight. You have to teach them to fight how they fight. And each one is different, and that's what differentiates a monitor from a professor. You have to realize that in order to get the best out of them. Don't try to teach them what you do, because that will never work.
No.
And that has always and that's exactly what you said today. And
I'm glad you understand that, because every time I talk to a lot of people, they don't say anything, so I don't know if they understand it. But that's how I figure out, because how do I know I will teach this? Because when I was learning this, I'm not planning to teach this, because the goal is for me to learn the arts of my family and learn the other arts so I can defeat them.
That's exactly right.
Because
that's what Dance through Savate has become. You're absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. And that would set you apart and set your students apart in the long run.
Yep.
Yep. And that's where people mess up, and you're absolutely correct. Tell us what you're doing in the near future. I know that you're coming to Texas soon, right?
Yes. Well, next week I'll be in South Carolina for about 4-day seminar, 3 days in the Jiu-Jitsu Palmetto Clinic seminar.
Okay.
Right in South Carolina. And I have every night I have training for my group over there, the Garimot Arnis training. Then when I came back, after that, I'll be in Vero Beach giving a 1-day seminar because I can only give 1 day over there.
Okay.
I have to come back here. Then I'll be in Texas, November 4.
November
San
4.
Antonio.
You see, that
November 4 and
that weekend we have our 10th annual World Pugilist Hall of Fame. We won't be over there.
Wow.
So hopefully we'll see you soon. And tell your student over there, Cesar, to contact us because are you there all 3 days or because it's November 4th is a Saturday? How about Friday?
Yeah. Yep. I'll be arriving at Friday. I'll be leaving back on Tuesday. So hopefully, because I always extend one more day.
Are you in San Antonio or you're in Austin?
I'm in San Antonio.
Are you going to be on Sunday? How's your Sunday going to be?
My Sunday is my seminar is end at 5 o'clock or 4, and I'm free on the night.
But let's see what we can do because we're going to have the people that are getting inducted this year, especially in the Eskrima, is you might know him, is from Lagas Tapado Emilio Alarcon.
From Hawaii.
No, from he lives near Stockton.
I have not heard of him yet.
Okay, and
I have not crossed to the name yet.
And then Bram Frank from Remy Presas group.
Bram Frank is we used to be close friends.
And understood.
But sometimes we have to leave it as that.
Understood. But let me do this. Go ahead.
I'll be also on. I'll be also in Missouri at the end of November.
Okay.
So, early end of November, early December.
Okay.
That's what it is. So they can catch me there.
Okay, good. And we'll see you soon, and we'll touch base. We'll continue going forward, and hopefully we'll see. I'll remind Cesar and remind you as well for the Texas Stick Fighting Championship. I think this year we're going to have it in April. It's going to be a little bit closer.
I would like.
I think it'll be good
to see you guys.
It'll be good for fellowship and it'll be good. It'll be good. I think it'll be something that we keep expanding, and those that, like I tell other guys, those that come become brothers in the arts, and those that come maybe later on they'll understand and come on over. And it's not about proving what's right, what's not. It's about giving people a chance to become better at themselves.
Yep. It's like I always tell to everybody. I said to my wife and my daughter, I said, look, I'm not here to show them that I'm better than the rest of you or the rest of them. I just want to be better, from the man I was yesterday.
That's exactly right. Good words. So we'll leave it at that. Big abrazo, big hugs, and we'll see you soon, Guru. Okay?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And hug to everybody also. Thank you.
All righty.
Respect. Good guy.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Until next time, we'll see you here.
Hello.